Hey everyone, welcome to Creative Coloring with Erum Tasneem here, and I am back after a short hiatus. Today I'm celebrating World Art Day by doing what I love, creating. This year's theme is a garden of expression, cultivating community through art. And for me, art is all about letting creativity flow without overthinking. I'm using Altenew's flower art stamp set and coloring it with watercolor brush markers. Instead of staying inside the lines, I'll be using a loose watercolor technique. That means we can relax and just enjoy the painting process. Let's get started. So as I mentioned, I'm using the flower arch outline stamp set. This is part of the Craft Your Life project kit. Today I'm just using the stamp and the coordinating die that comes in the kit. I'll stamp this on a watercolor cardstock, and I need this entire image because we are going to cover this A2 panel completely. I'll be using the watercolor brush markers. Right now, I think that we're going to go with the Spring Garden set, and the colors that we'll use are Rubelite, Warm Sunshine, Limeade, and Emerald. Because I need to stamp the entire image, I brought in my 9x12 paper pad, and I'm just going to pull out one of the pages. I cut the piece of 9x12 cardstock because I stamped it incorrectly the first time around. So I'm going to prep my panel with anti-static powder. I'm going to stamp the image in embossing ink. I'm going to use anti-gold crisp embossing powder. As I mentioned, that for the flowers, I'm using Warm Sunshine and Rubelite. I love this combination because it gives such a warm and glowing effect. And the way that I'm going to use it today, it's going to look like the flowers are glowing because I'm going to add the Warm Sunshine at the center, and I'm going to pull it outwards towards the petal tips. And I'm going to bring in the Rubelite from petal tips inwards. It's going to be super easy. And to begin, if you want to make it easier for you, what you have to do is apply water first and then add the pigment. Or if you want your flowers to look more concentrated, then there are a couple of ways to go about it. So let's just start with the one way. Okay, it's going to be a little messy because like you can see that there's pigment here in my brush. That's fine. Okay, so there's a couple of ways, as I said, to go about it. Oh, okay, it's going to drip, 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 drip. It's going to drip again. Oh, okay, that's why. This was loose. Anyway, let's just pull in. Okay, we're going this way. Because it's dripping, I'm just going to do this first. Work around. I'm going to spread it outwards. And I'm not using any water right now because, as you can see, I have a lot of pigment here. An unfortunate accident, but that's fine. Once I have my pigment here, then I can bring in some water just to dilute it so that once it mixes with the Rubelite, it kind of mixes well. And don't worry about going outside the lines. It looks like it's going to be more Warm Sunshine than it's going to be Rubelite. That's fine. Okay, putting it back. This is not my intention, but this is what's happening now. Going to bring in Rubelite, and I'm going to apply it in the same manner now because things have changed. Going to bring in Rubelite from petal tips inwards. Do not worry about going outside the lines. Apply it to the petal tips. Just add a bit of water here, and then activate your pigment, bring it inwards. If you think there's just too much yellow, because in my case there is, then you just add more of that pigment. Activate the pigment, bring it inwards. You don't have to really work hard on mixing this or try to get a beautiful blend, because this will work beautifully on its own. Though, try to get some of the pigment outside the lines so that you have color there. We don't want the white to be showing, so try to get a bit of color outside the lines. Or even if you have white outline, that's fine too. But if there's color, what that does is it won't look as dark. I'm just adding water here and not doing much. Just do not take your ruby light to the center so that we have a bit of that warm sunshine showing. And it's going to look really messy, but that's fine. And this is the leaf where I've just added red, and again, it's fine. Color all the flowers in the same way. In some flowers, if you want to add more yellow, less pink, you can do that. On others, you can add more pink, less yellow, and that would just add a little bit of variation. And I'll show you how to do that. Let's do it with this one. We'll bring in a little bit more of the orange. Sorry, the warm sunshine here. What I'll do is, because I have a lot more concentrated pigment here, instead of using water to blend, I'll just use the pigment of this warm sunshine to blend. And as you can see, this one has more of an orange hue because it's mixed with rubelite. I'm going to add a bit of that outside the line, so I'll have some color here. This is rubelite, adding that to the tips of the petals. Now the water is what will help you, giving you a beautiful transition without any harsh lines. This will also dilute the pigment a little bit. So as I said, if you want, you can go back in, bringing some of that pigment, using it directly. In this one, I've used more of the rubelite, and I did bring in more and pulled it inwards towards the flower center. And that's fine. As I said, in some of these flowers, I'm going to add more of the rubelite, less of the warm sunshine, and in others, more of that warm sunshine. It's going to be vice versa. And I do really like the color, the vibrancy on this one. I think I'm going to add this color here as well. It's a little further away. It's fairly faster, the process of coloring. And as you can see, I'm not really adding any additional pigment outside the lines. It's just on my brush. Watercolor brush markers are super pigmented. You don't have to try really hard with these. It's also really easy to take away the pigment. They're very, very water reactive. I just love working with them. It's also the water does most of the work. I'm going to use the warm watercolor brush marker here to blend. But with watercolor, the less you control it, the better it looks. Instead of over blending, I'm letting the colors flow naturally, allowing them to mix on paper. So here you'll see that I'm just adding dabs of color, and as you saw that I'm just adding some of the water, letting it work on its own, and then moving on. And you can do the same. Now color these flowers in the way that you like to color and you enjoy. If you don't like to color outside the lines, you don't do that. Do what you are comfortable with. I actually love doing this sort of coloring because here I don't have to pay attention to shadow or depth, though it comes naturally to me because I've been coloring for a very long time. But sometimes you just don't want to overthink. You want to just add color to the flowers, be free, let your creativity flow, and not think about these small things like I need to add more color over here, like dark color here, light color here, or add shadow here because this petal is on top of that petal. Sometimes it can be just these colorful flowers going out of the lines. And Still, look at how beautiful this looks. It looks gorgeous, and I'm pretty sure once I die cut this, it's going to look even more stunning. And that is what World Art Day is about, celebrating creativity, self expression, and the joy of making something with our hands that we absolutely love. Just adding a little bit more of this warm sunshine pigment here. There might be some blobs of paint, and that's fine too. Now, if you want to go back in and add a bit more, you can do that, because this will dry and lighten slightly, not that much. These watercolor brush markers are absolutely the most pigmented and vibrant mediums that Altenew has. Okay, so now I think I have colored all the flowers. I don't think I missed anything. Going to bring in the emerald and the limeade. The limeade is really light. Normally I don't use water with limeade. I only use the limeade as is, and that's fine. But I do need to spread it outside the lines. So I'm going to just, and don't worry about the red mixing with the green. That's fine. And it's going to be slightly vibrant on the vibrant side. You know me, I do love my bold looking cards. Let the red mix. Don't worry about it. It will look like a hot mess. And I'm going to repeat myself, do not worry about it. Drop in that pigment just to make the leaves stand out, and the leaves need to be bright. Your entire cardstock is going to be green, yes, but the leaves need to be greener and bold. Bringing in the emerald, and this is a dark color, just drop this in where the stems are, because it will spread on its own. And if it doesn't, we'll help it move. Okay, just drop it in. All the leaves have a bit of emerald. Once your leaf have emerald, take in that limeade again and use it to spread it around. Don't spread it everywhere. Just help it move a bit so that you get a nice transition. Once it dries, it is going to look good, so you do not have to overblend this. In case you like softness, then definitely add more water and blend it well. But I'm telling you, this is going to look really nice. Oh, missed one spot here. Let's add more of that emerald. It's really concentrated in on the base. See, I told you this one is dried, and look how beautiful this looks. I'll color the other leaves in the similar manner. So I've used the coordinating die to cut this. Oh, look at that. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? And because I covered all of that piece, very little of the white showing. Now this is from leftover from the panel that I cut because I did not stamp it properly the first time. So I'm going to cut an A2 panel out of this. And I'm using the textured side because I messed up on the other side. To start, I will add water to the panel. This is going to be more concentrated on the edges and less in the center. The entire panel is now wet. Also going to apply water to the back of the panel so that it doesn't warp as much. You can also use a mister, fine mister, to apply water to the entire panel. I'll start adding the color from here. What this will do is it will kind of lighten the watercolor brush marker pigment. This is limeade, and I will now soften this using water and spread it inwards. This is quite vibrant, but we'll just soften it, move it inwards. I think it will look really good. Because there's just too much of the green, I'm going to add a little bit of this too. I'm just doing it to one edge just to see how it looks. If it doesn't look good, and I will not add too much of it. Bring in a bit of water just to tone it down. Pull it inwards. Now add a bit of water and then smooth it outwards to create a nice blend. Now this will lighten. So if you don't want a lot of pigment on there, you can absolutely not add too much of it. Now this is slightly more yellow. I think it looks really nice. Look at that. It's super vibrant. If you don't like a lot of color, avoid adding color to the background or make it lighter. And I'm going to dry this. As you can see, we cannot see the stamping that was behind the panel. Now that it has relatively dried, the edges are still wet and it's super vibrant. Oh my God, it is so bright. You know what? I could just color in these with black or even brown. I'm just using lime and I know that it's not going to be as obvious. I'm just picking up a little bit of emerald and adding that. You can even add gem sparkles to this. I will, however, just bring in a bit of rubellite to see if it turns brown. All right, what I'm going to do now is add a few black splatters on the panel. Not too many, just a few. I will use the 1/4 by 1/8 inch instant dimension foam tape to adhere this piece onto the card base. I've already attached my panel to the card base. And this, because it's thick, it's going to give me quite a bit of dimension. Okay, now I've removed the backing and I'm going to start arranging my image. Now I'm going to cut off the excess. Now these are the excess pieces and I can arrange them wherever I think they will look best. And I don't have to use all of this. Take your time to figure out the placement. You can take as much time as you want to, and you can even separate the pieces. And then the other portion is going to go here. To finish this off, I'm just going to pop this sentiment, and that's it. A loose, effortless floral piece that's full of color and movement. I love how freeing this technique is. No stress about staying inside the lines, just pure creativity. And how gorgeously vibrant this looks, because watercolor brush markers are super vibrant and intense. Let me know in the comments what you are creating today, and don't forget to have fun with your art. The World Art Day is coming up in a couple of weeks. It's on April 15th. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Hello there, did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.